The entirety of this dungeon all in one part. Have fun with this.
And you said this was Chuck E. Cheese.
No, I clearly said Chico Chewins.
I'm pretty sure I said Shikos. I'm sorry if you heard Chuck E. Cheese, but I specifically said Shikos Ruins.
This
Indeed, I think we've been bamboozled.
Well, what makes you think that? Also, if you hear me in the back, I'm getting my beers ready for the night.
Hell yeah.
You and your beers.
Hell yeah.
You know, just for that, I'm gonna go get my own.
I'm gonna be the only sober one in this commentary.
I'm not even really gonna get drunk, maybe buzzed with one beer, but that's honestly though, compared to how I've been like back when I was recording Let's Plays, I drink nowhere near as much now as I did back then.
Good. The fact that you get buzzed on
It's
one
instead
beer
of an apple
scares
cider
me.
in here.
Like, I might get buzzed, but
Yeah. Getting buzzed off of one beer scares me.
I don't get buzzed over one beer. I barely ever drink anyway.
yeah.
Same.
Like
See, like Yuri's getting crunk. He got a life bottle.
Hell yeah. I'm just imagining life bottles are
Fair.
just like shots of liquor for whatever reason.
I mean, what else could it be?
It's like when you get KO'd and then you use a life bottle and someone was like, come on, the party ain't over yet, bro.
My question is, I know it's a video game launcher, but like, who puts money in these treasure boxes, assuming people are going to even open them in the first place?
I have no idea. I always just assumed it's like the treasure chests got unearthed some way, shape, or form because it's honestly way too convenient that they're just out in the open.
I'll just repeat what Mrs. Puff said. Don't ask questions you're not prepared to hear the answers to.
Good point.
Yeah, I'm just going around gathering stuff before we're forced into this.
Looks like no one's here. No Imperial
Gathering around like this. I messed up my own joke. Fuck, no!
At the speed of what? Molasses?
Molasses. Or
Molasses.
molasses.
Molassie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Molassi.
That's racist.
I love
Wait.
how Rita has goggles on her, but she never wears them.
Funny enough,
You
I think
never-
it does show her using them in the animated intro, but that's
She,
it.
I think she uses them in the OVA, but it's been a while since I've seen that.
I was gonna say that too. I'm pretty sure they see her. First time you see her in the OVA, she's wearing them for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while
I
since
need
I've
to
seen it, so I
rewatch the
can't
OVA.
remember.
It's actually really good.
It's
I
been.
actually own it too, so I can watch it.
I do too.
Still need to get the Symphonia OVA, but that's only because it's only on Blu-ray because HD DVD is apparently gone now forever.
HD DVDs died the moment it was like before it was like they were dead on arrival.
Yeah.
But I don't have a Blu-ray player. I mean, I have
Nobody
my-
definitely has an HD DVD player.
Get an Xbox One. That comes with a DVD. That comes with a Blu-ray player.
I have a PS3, but I don't think my PS3 has a Blu-ray player in it.
No, it's
If it's
I'm just
if it's
more
thi-
before
if it's thin, then no.
because HD DVD was designed to be like a competitor to Blu-ray. You know how Blu-ray turned out because HD DVD required an add-on for the 360.
Yeah. No, my PS3 is definitely the newer model.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Blu-ray was just going strong because PS3s had it built in. You didn't need to attach something to it.
I mean, it's
And
not
tho-
like it'll do anything.
And those
if I put
bitches cost $600 at launch. Fuck that.
And it was
Yeah,
still
that's
the
why I
cheap,
didn't
and it
get
was still the
mine. That's
cheapest
why-
Blu-ray in the market.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get my PS3.
And the price still sucked.
I mean,
And
yeah,
that's why I never bought a PS3 until like 7 years after it's been out.
no, yeah, and I'm fully aware of that. But it's just like, even at $599 US, haha, meme. Even with that, it was still the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market, bar none.
Yeah, it was the same for when PS2 came out, and it was the cheapest DVD player on the market, and that was $300.
Like, even at $599 too, like, they were still barely making a profit off of it at that point. And then when they started
Like,
selling, like, because they had to lower the price eventually, they started selling PS3s at a loss.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we'll sell this at $600. Certainly people will throw money at this.
What do you mean the Blu-ray isn't the hottest commodity yet?
You know,
We'll
you could
force
sell
it on the market.
You know, you could sell this for 300. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I could.
Fuck that shit.
But then we'd be losing hundreds of dollars every PS3.
It's hip. It's Coral. It's losing money.
Honestly, they probably could have. Honestly, they could have sold her for 400 and they would have been fine.
No, I think
No.
because I think any less than 600, they were selling it at a loss.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, my specialty's
Despite
Well,
the despite the PS3 making up what it lost later on down the line, it was still being sold at a loss.
Yeah, it cost more to make it than it did to actually sell the damn thing.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you were about to get
Haha, Carol fell.
I mean, I would have bought a PS4 instead if most games were backwards compatible with it, which they aren't.
Eh.
Don't you know Sony hates backwards compatibility? They want you
Yeah,
to
the company.
they want you to buy everything.
Yeah, the company that created that entire concept. Bastards.
Yeah, it's like PS2, you can play PS1 on it. Fuck yeah.
Original PS3, you could play PS2 and PS1 on it. Anything after the original? Nope.
Go fuck yourself.
What?
Meanwhile,
You know,
meanwhile, current Sony's like, ew, PS4, it looks like shit.
Right? I mean,
Even
and
before
then
PS4,
Microsoft in the corner is like, hey guys, we just added more backwards compatibility with these games.
even before PS4, like slim model
Rice
PS3,
balls! Fuck yeah!
it took us 7 parts to finally learn a different recipe.
Yeah, and like I mentioned when we got cooking, you have to have
Yeah,
certain
look at-
characters making certain recipes in order to learn new recipes. And in that case, Estelle needed to make sandwiches in order for us to learn rice balls. And now I need to get Yuri to make rice balls for the next recipe.
Yeah, and
Hey Yuri, look what I made. It's just a ball. It's just a snowball of rice.
And it is
they have
useful
to
too
and they have
because
to 3 rank it too. So
yeah, like the thing is, just rice ball is actually very useful. Takes a few more ingredients than a sandwich, obviously, but HP and TP restoration.
oh god, I
Yes.
forgot the frogs in this game actually punch you in the face this time.
They have arms. Oh my
Yes.
god.
They're evolving.
They're throwing hands.
Finally, that Frogs horror movie makes sense.
speaking of this game making things staples, a lot of enemy designs in this game get carried over to like even the most recent Tales game. Like even Arise still reuses a lot of like the frog enemy graphics and
Yes,
like
it
the
does.
tadpole enemies.
They'll obviously they'll adjust them for their art style going
Yeah,
forward,
they-
but for the most part, it's just like they have a skeleton starting with this game, or even like starting with Abyss too, because I recognize some
Zombie.
enemies in Abyss in
Oh, yeah.
Vesperia.
I
Zombies,
think the
ghosts,
Mhm.
frogs, wolves,
yeah.
God,
I
the
think
wolf.
I think
Tadpoles.
I think the sharks with the anchor swords have been in the franchise since Abyss, and they've never gone away.
Because
By the way, I want to make. By the way, wait. I want to make mention of something. The tadpoles you see in this game, by the way, I just want to make mention. These are the exact same enemies that are in Tales of the Race, and they're fucking everywhere.
Oh no, are they like?
oh yeah, because
are they like
the
Paris
they're like the
in
Goombas of Tales of the Race.
Legends
They're in
Arceus?
everything.
One question at a time, please. I can't hear both of you at once.
Oh, my bad.
Then they don't work, do
Well,
they?
just my question was, are they like Paris in Legends Arceus?
Yes, actually,
Oh,
they're
shit.
fucking everywhere.
Oh boy.
Some of them are the events and get exclusive costumes.
Oh no.
Some of them wear wedding dresses. Some of them wear pirate gear.
My god.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was one point where they wore ninja garb.
Huh.
They don't.
Sure,
It
why
doesn't.
the fuck not?
It doesn't change anything. It's just how they look.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, why are you in this? Oh god, ninja frogs.
I mean, Suzu had her own frog.
Yeah, but that wasn't a ninja.
But there's been some success in the synthesis of simple blast.
Honestly, I don't see why Suzu doesn't sue the entire Naruto franchise for stealing her gimmick.
I like how you see a little snippet of Rapide just being bored in the corner for like a split second.
He's not part of this conversation.
It's all like, you humans and your blastias and your fucking... Yeah.
What's funny is that Rapide is very similar to Rita as he is to Estelle, except the difference is, like, with Estelle, he vocally acknowledges that he is ignoring her, and with Rita, he's just, like, indifferent on the fact that she's even existing.
Now, they're both indifferent to each other. It's just like, they don't get in either of the other person's way.
I mean, occasionally there'll be skits where, like, she argues with Rapide, but it's mostly just, like, she yells at Rapide, like, oh, you're approaching me, huh? kind of.
No, it's more like
thing.
it's more like Rita realizes she's trying to start an argument with a dog.
Yeah, she's not that dumb to actually go further with that.
Like, with Estelle, he has a personal vendetta against her for no real reason.
He does not.
No, he doesn't. He just
I know,
doesn't give a-
like,
he doesn't give a fuck.
No, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, Estelle thinks he has some personal vendetta against her for no reason.
You say that, and you keep insisting that's like that's more than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, she's trying to get friendly with him, but Rapide literally does nothing, and that's what upsets her.
Oh, right, and also I think this is the last game to actually use the Sorcerer's Ring.
I think...
I don't think, does Graces use it?
I don't think Graces uses it.
'Cause I know Zillia doesn't.
Let me do some Google searching here.
I know Zillia for a fact doesn't. I don't remember if Vesperia does or not.
And then honestly, in here, like, you could already tell it's just like, look, it's just a staple at this point. Just roll with it. Because like, in Symphonia, it's just like, oh, you use this thing, and then it changes the function of the Sorcerer's Ring. Here, it's just like, it just shoots things. That's it. Have fun with that.
Well, Symphonia has it because the Sorcerer's Ring was originally in Fantasia, so they kind of had to put it in Symphonia.
Yeah. What I'm saying, though, is just like, here, it doesn't have any other functions other than shooting little fireballs out of it. And that's it. It'll get more powerful. It'll upgrade. But its main function never changes.
Actually, Tales of Berseria has it.
Oh, Berseria does have it. Okay, I do have Berseria. I haven't really. I actually unintentionally backlogged that game myself, mainly because I probably started it too soon. Because I started it almost immediately after beating Arise, which is probably a mistake.
Tales of Hearts also uses it.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have done that.
And then,
Tales of Berseria uses it, but it has a completely different function in that game.
Well, I haven't even bought Berseria, mostly because even though I've heard so many like negative things about it, I want to play through Vesperia.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I paid full price for it when it came out, and I never.
No.
He wants to see.
Dude,
for
I
himself
really
why it's
don't
as bad
like.
as it is.
I really don't care what other people say. Like, you could tell me all the negatives, but I have to see it for myself. I have to experience it for myself.
kind of-
If I just go with anyone's word with it, I would only ever play the popular opinion, and that just doesn't seem right.
I completely agree with Logic on that one. As
Damn.
someone who did play through Vesperia and does not care for it, I at least feel good on the fact that I played it myself to see if it's good.
Yeah, you formed your own opinion on it. It's just like, okay, I see what people are getting at here, and I have to agree because you actually played it instead of just going off of their word and their word alone.
I mean, that's what formed my opinion. I actually did play it.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to do that for myself. Like, I will listen to your guys' complaints about, like, just about anyone's complaints about Vesperia, and everyone praising the shit out of Berseria in comparison. But I refuse to buy Berseria until I finally play through Vesperia.
But do you have to play it through all the way?
Yes.
Fuck.
My issue with Vesperia is mostly because of my personal bias of absolutely adoring Zillia 2, and then going into Vesperia realizing that they
It's
completely
different.
changed the perfect format that the franchise had. for no reason other than to do something different. And while doing something different is a good thing, sometimes it's so jarring that it pisses you off.
What I don't like is the fact that you can have battles happen in real time, but then the camera gets caught on the environment and they didn't think it through hard enough. So
Yeah, that's a main
then-
complaint a lot of people have with Vesperia, and I am concerned about that, but I have to really see it for myself.
Yeah.
Speaking of changes, this is the first series to have back attacks.
I think other ones did too, but
By the way, having back attacks in Dawn sucks dick.
There weren't surprise attacks in. Oh no, you're right, because there were surprise attacks in Abyss.
I was about to say fuck you. You're wrong.
I did forget temporarily that Abyss had them first. My bad.
Yeah, Abyss did have them, but they were nowhere near as severe as it was in Dawn. It's like, why even have this in the first place?
No, this was before Dawn as well, so, kind of, sort of, but that's a whole other problem.
It was not, I'm just saying, even in Abyss when it happened, it was nowhere near as bad as when it happened in Dawn. It's like, what happened?
No, I agree.
And it's like, oh, you get back attacked in Dawn, you're stunned for like 5 seconds while the enemies wail on you.
I know, thankfully Bamco learned from that, and they never did that ever again.
Okay, and then what was I gonna say too? Oh yeah, going back to like how you saw Vesperia when you played it, coming from Exilia 2. That's a lot. That's what a lot of people think of when it comes to Arise as well. Like, because Arise, it's not completely different, but it's different enough. I just remember a lot of people go, yeah, it's different enough that it's just like, why didn't they just keep Berseria's gameplay? The same thing that you said about why didn't they just keep Exilia 2's gameplay with Vesperia? It's just like you gotta go at it with a fresh mindset, I guess. Like,
yeah, I get you.
And it's like that's just an inevitability. You're going into like a new game in a series with some bias. It's like, oh, I hope it's like this game, or it has this feature and all that.
Right.
It's an inevitability that's gonna happen.
Here's my question to you guys. Do you believe Tales of Arise killed the franchise?
Hell no!
No. Fuck
I didn't think so.
Fuck no.
Anyone who thinks they ruined the franchise has obviously just. Oh my god.
No. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing
there
all over
are
Twitter.
People that legitimately believe that Bamco is going out of their way to destroy the series. And like now I can sort of see that, but people were saying that when Arise was first revealed. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's called they're trying something new.
Also, I'm showing off that
You're showing off the back attack, yeah.
Or like you can use the Sorcerer's Ring to stun the enemies.
Enemies, which is pretty neat.
Like it's either, but it's a crapshoot on whether you actually like stun them and keep them in place so you can go around them, or if you stun them so you can get the surprise attack on them.
Yeah, I've had times where I've shot enemies like 12 or 13 times before they get the stun. It's annoying.
Eventually, I just got to the point where I stopped caring.
Yeah. Like, I'll go for it, like, with 1 or 2 shots, but if it doesn't happen, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna bother anymore.
And I only try try to go for the stun if they're, like, literally in my way and I have to fight them.
Yeah. And then, a funny thing, too, is, like, along with, like, just stunning them in place or stunning them for a surprise attack, then there's the chance that they'll get mad and run straight to you.
Yeah, I've had that happen more times than they got stunned.
Oh my god! I think I even show it off in somewhere down the road where, like, I'm trying, like, I spend 6 or 7 times shooting the Sorcerer's Ring at an enemy, and then on the final one, it just rushes me like, okay, well, even what's the point of all that?
Whoops.
To go back,
why even bother?
To go back to Luigi's question for a tiny bit about believing if Arise killed the franchise. No, because here's the thing. The reason why people think is like, oh, we didn't immediately get a new game a year and a half after Arise. Like, you want yearly releases for this franchise? Because that's what's going to make it stagnant and get boring.
Yeah, people were expecting at least ports of the later games, but they didn't even do that.
Yeah. One another thing, too, is just like, if anything, Arise didn't quote-unquote kill the franchise. It's Bandai Namco's lack of updates to Arise. Yeah, lack of effort to update Arise or add more to it. Because I just remember a few months after Arise, they did that whole Sword Art Online thing, which I honestly don't care for. I appreciate it, but it's like, it's not like that I'm hating on Sword Art Online or anything, but
yeah.
But at least they were showing, it's like, hey, look, it gave the impression that there's going to be constant updates, little additional pieces of things here and there that you can enjoy. And then after that,
nothing.
And after Sword Art Online, they stopped doing anything.
actually,
Yeah.
I think I remember looking it up, and I might have mentioned it a while, but it just got glossed over. But what was that one game that they did? I don't think it was Astral Chain, was it? No, I didn't think
No,
it
that was
No, that was-
Platinum.
Platinum.
was.
I know the game you're talking about, though.
Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah, Scarlet Nexus. That's what they did. Like a few months after the Sword Art Online thing, they did a little crossover thing with Scarlet Nexus, where it's like, but all they really, whereas Sword Art Online got like a bonus boss battle with like the
The
two
main character.
yeah, the main characters of Sword Art Online. All Scarlet Nexus got was like a couple weapons for Alphen, some music added that you can play, that you can battle to. Few things here and there. That's it. And nothing has happened with Arise since then.
And keep in
we
mind-
were supposed to. There was they. It's not the It's not Arise's fault that Bamco didn't capitalize on its popularity at the time. It won
Yeah, exactly.
It won Best RPG of the Year, and they still did nothing with it.
Maybe they just didn't expect it to do as well. But honestly, that's just, yeah, like you said, they didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah. If anything, it makes Bamco look bad because it makes it seem like they sent Arise out to die, and when it didn't, they're like, "Oh shit, we didn't expect this."
And then they sent out Symphonia Remastered to die, and now that's probably going to be like, well, I guess they don't want this series anymore.
It's like they don't like the Tales series anymore, even though in Japan it's just as good. It's like it's just as popular as things like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest.
Well,
Obviously,
here's the thi-
not the
well,
not
here's
the
the-
case here.
Here's the ironic thing about that.
Shit.
Because then we also have Final Fantasy 16 coming out, and everyone's concerned that that's going to kill the franchise.
People just don't like new things, is the thing.
No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I'm not even against it being an action game because Crisis Core was an action game, and everybody loves it now.
No,
Yeah, but
everyone's
it wasn't a
concerned with-
mainline game. Mainline games are supposed to be turn-based and blah blah blah.
No, that's no.
Oh, is that why they keep is that why they keep
Everyone's concerned
referencing
with
it in the remake?
look at that face on Yuri.
My toe on a rock.
Yeah.
No, everyone's concerned with Final Fantasy 16 is that it's too westernized, and I'm like,
Have you been paying attention?
It's like Final Fantasy is
been
Western.
westernized.
It's or inspired.
It's already at that point as it is.
It's
I know,
like
but I was gonna say it started getting westernized by Final Fantasy 8. Have you been paying attention at all?
it's been Western inspired since the very beginning. It's based
Yeah.
like Final Fantasy itself is based on like freaking Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. I know. No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like, this,
Also,
I'm like
yeah,
character design wise, I
Rocks.
guess.
so normally when you shoot
one.
your sorcerer's ring at this enemy, it's supposed to initiate a battle. I don't know what I did, but it doesn't want to start up.
You
And-
broke
Oh,
the
did you
game.
get
Holy shit.
Did you get soft locked?
No, not soft lock, but it's like you're supposed to kill that in order to get like a hidden, like a little secret passage opened up for like a free item.
Coming from a thief.
But
What's weird is you fought the first two, so why can't you attack the third one?
that third one specifically is supposed to be the trigger for like right in front of us right here, like pointing towards the camera. There's like a set of stairs that's supposed to show up after you fight this enemy, but I can't fight it. So I have to actually leave the room and come back to re-trigger
I was gonna say
it.
I hope you can fix it and it's not like soft blocking you.
No, yeah, we already have it solved. We could just fight the boss straight away. But I just said screw it, healed up, and came back.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's like it's not even. I bet you it's not even worth it.
It is
Yeah.
worth it actually. It's for a weapon,
Fuck.
but it's not important right
It's the
now.
Aqua Blastia,
Right.
Not this puppet.
What are you doing?
I like how we're going for the
Looking at him like
Aqua
that.
Blastia, but they spell it with an E.
And that's kind of what they do with like Blastia types and names, like Bodhi. It's supposed to be like body, but it's spelled B-O-D-H-I.
Ah, you got Bodhi.
You
No,
got Bodhi.
that's kind of a staple of Tales in general, where they like
Friends is here.
change the spelling of a word just to make it look more exotic, I guess, than it actually is.
Yeah.
Like how like how art is spelled with an E instead of just ARTS.
That sounded convincing.
Like, is the
Yeah,
silent E really
boy.
necessary? Like, is the silent E really necessary?
I
Yes,
think you just
apparently.
gave yourself away. I don't know who you are, but you're definitely not from Ospio if you don't recognize me.
I'm kind of a big
Guess
deal.
she's got no
Big dick energy.
She does have the big dick energy.
She has every reason to have that, too. That's the thing.
It's not the knights, it's a bunch of kids.
Goddamn kids.
Curse you, meddling kids and your dog.
Rita!
Kill the kids for me. Wait.
Bonk.
The good thing she didn't die from that.
Time
It's-
for
I'm good.
shipping.
I'm good.
It begins.
I was waiting for it.
This is where the people started shipping Ristel.
Wait a minute. What?
What's funny is I'm glad you remembered to use the exact same edit you did the last time we did this.
I was
Oh yeah, no,
It is
that's
the
too
exact same
funny to
edit.
not pass up.
It is the exact same edit.
Yeah, that's too
It's the
funny to
exact
pass
same
up.
edit.
Again.
It's the exact same video.
Yeah. Well, like, even in the first recordings that we did way back in, like, freaking 2019,
right.
I had just, like, it was different recording, but same edit.
You all
Yeah.
Bye!
What do you mean you'll leave it to us? How are you gonna get through?
Lucky for Rita, that thing didn't just clobber her in the back of the head right there.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I was just like, how did she barely avoided getting literally crushed?
So, alright, take your time. Can we start the fight?
Yes.
Okay, take your time.
Go lie.
Also, Rita, you
Now,
can
what's
save
the
us a lot
secret?
of
What's the secret
time.
mission for this one again?
When it's charging up the X-Buster, you have to, like, you see that glowing part on the back of its right leg? You have to attack it there when it's charging the X-Buster.
Oh, I think I got this one by complete accident.
It's really easy to get. If you have Rita spamming Stone Blast, it pretty much becomes a non-issue. Like right
Splash. Oh wow, you got it without even. Wow. I actually
Because,
had to force it.
there. Like, you
I
have
didn't
to
even think it
resort
was
to
using- I
Rita
didn't
using
even think it
Stone
was
Blast
charging
for
an
that, by
attack
the
yet.
way. Like, you have
Yeah.
to resort to Rita using Stone Blast for that because he
thought
has
Splash-
like he has super armor for the most part when it comes to physical attacks, and good luck trying to
thought you
get that
could
with
use
just
her-
Yuri.
I thought you could use that water attack too, because that stays on the ground for a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much
It does.
spells in general are very helpful. So Rita is pretty much a must-have here.
I'm a little jealous of you getting that within like the first 10 seconds of the fight, because I had to force him to start using the damn X-Buster before it actually worked.
The fun
Oh,
thing,
just wait.
a fun thing about secret missions most of the time too is when you trigger them, you actually lock the bosses out of doing specific things. Because I think now that you interrupted him by doing the secret mission on the leg while he did the X-Buster, he will not do the X-Buster for the rest of the fight now.
Neat.
Like,
Yeah, I think that.
and then like even one later on when we fight it in Act 1, there's a boss that will heal itself unless you have Raven do a specific art. If you have him do that and you trigger the secret mission, the boss won't be able to heal itself, and it won't even try to heal itself again.
Let's go chase him down.
Oh man, no break.
Easy fucking peasy.
let's wait before you
So-
start saying that.
So we got that poison ward, which pretty much just resistance or immunity to poison. But it also drops antibiotics, so if you didn't get the secret mission, you can craft a poison ward.
Oh boy, a poison ward. Something I never use.
It'll be very
This
happy.
is also something that's new to
I like how you agree.
This is also something that's unique to this version, because in the 360 version you didn't get
Right.
special items for doing
All
this.
that's left is to get our
No, you
power
did.
supply.
You did.
I'm sorry.
You did? I don't remember them
Yeah.
showing it to you though.
Well, I edit in the highlight of what item they give you, because otherwise
I remember that. I know that. I'm like,
All right, all right.
I'm so used to the 360 version where the achievement logo pops up whenever you do secret missions that like throws me off that it's not there anymore.
no, they only show up when you actually finish the fight after doing the secret mission in the battle.
So you think
Yeah.
Flynn is-
I don't think he's here anymore. Come on.
But yeah, even in the 360 version, secret missions gave unique items if you trigger them.
That why we were fighting that thing? Of course.
Did Flint kill this rock
You
monster?
were already here looking for the thief. I just had glad you guys help out.
Flynn wasn't even here. What are you
go, let's
talking about?
I just get that vibe that she blacked out for most of it. it's like yeah, we fought the
More
block monster. And
shipping.
then,
And you're so cool. I'm gonna
Oh
go
boy.
More shipping.
feel his power inside me.
I like to imagine that Estelle blacked out for like half the boss fight, and it was like, and at the end of it, it's like, did Flynn do this?
By the way, I did go back and I finally
Still
got
locked?
it triggered proper.
Oh,
No,
you did. Okay,
There we
good.
for whatever reason, like that last enemy will always be in that position, but for whatever reason, the sorcerer's ring didn't want to work on him until I left the room and came back.
Huh.
And that's
pretty
what I
su-
wanted to get in the first place. But apparently,
I'm pretty
the game-
sure he was. I'm pretty sure that happens in the 360 version as well.
I don't
It
remember.
can.
No, like that enemy, even in the 360 version, is always stuck in that position. But you have to hit
Yeah.
it with the sorcerer's ring in order to trigger the fight. But I don't know what I did specifically, but the sorcerer's ring did not want to work that first time up until after we beat the boss. Then I left and came back.
Oh, here's
I think-
here's the
I think
here's
the
the
game
last
just hates
little
you.
here's the last little thing I'll say about like having like unique skills on weapons. The game doesn't explain how much experience you get before you learn those skills. So it takes
Oh god,
forever-
frogs!
So sometimes it takes forever for you to learn the skills on the weapons, so you're stuck with underpowered weapons for longer than you need to be.
Honestly, though, in this game, it's not that bad of an idea to even have weaker weapons on anyway, because if you're trying to
Yeah.
do stuff like comboing, or later on when we get Fatal Strikes, if you're trying to trigger Fatal Strikes, it works that you have weaker weapons.
Yes.
That's fair.
Because if you're just having the strongest weapon equipped when you're just fighting regular enemies, you'll kill them before you get anything remotely close to a Fatal Strike trigger.
No way, not me.
Yeah, seriously.
Then maybe it was one of your friends. Yeah, it's that creep.
Yeah.
Becky. Where'd he run off to? He's probably getting money from the client right now.
I'm a whiny little bitch.
He's
Who
getting.
exactly might that
he,
be? All I know is he's so
he gave me his lunch money.
I don't know any more than that.
Then he took my fruit gummies and called me a bitch. Wait, that was
What am
Pikachu.
I missing?
Damn.
So is this the guy?
imagine getting mugged by a yellow rat.
Hell yeah.
It happens.
Said it would be useful for this job.
Imagine getting mugged by a yellow rat that's not even half your size.
It like doesn't even go up to your freaking kneecaps.
No, it really doesn't.
You think somebody important is behind it all?
I'm just imagining Detective Pikachu 2 being like the Punisher.
Doesn't sound like some ordinary band of thieves. Man, first the knights, then the monsters. now
Like,
this.
you know, the game has those interrogation tactics where you like dunk them in like
That's him.
you can dunk them in like
Damn knight.
a blender or something to get them to talk.
Great, Rita.
Just imagine Detective Pikachu 2 doing that for some reason. I
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
why. It's just the dumbest fucking thing.
Can't believe that dude is fucking dead. No, he's not actually dead.
Could've had to-
Wow, how much of a bitch you have to be to die to claw?
How much
I was
bitch?
gonna
How
say,
much
you
of a
know,
bitch do you have to be to
pretty
get
damn
knocked
hard
out by
to
a freaking rock when you have armor on? Huh?
No,
Huh?
how much of a bitch do you have to be to get knocked out by a piece of cloth?
it's very stretchy cloth.
It could still sting.
It was a big rock.
It wasn't though. That's the thing. It wasn't that big.
I still love that little thing that the NPC says. She's like, this armor is actually really thin. It's like enough for you to get knocked out with a rock. I'm pretty sure you would have had more sturdiness if you didn't even have the armor on.
This town's budget sucks.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Anyway, we did things in the ruins.
Fuck
Yeah.
the establishment. I don't know.
Our first real dungeon.
I
Technically.
actually had something to talk about. Yay!
Fuck yeah. Alright, we'll see you guys in the next one.